What's up, guys? It's your girl BooksWithBonnie, and I am back with another effing video. Let's go, let's go. Is it just me, or when you're reading a book, you have so many comments, so many ideas, so many details that you could explain, and then the moment you turn the camera on, you're like, yeah. I felt that. What's up, guys? It's your girl BooksWithBonnie, and I am back with another effing video. Today's video is going to be all about, you know it, the mid-year check-in. Where am I for reading? So for those who don't know, I actually record my reading very differently. So I only track the books that are new to me. So no rereads, no books that I've DNF'd and then reread. So these are just books that I've new completely to me. With that being said, according to my app, I do have about 29 books. Let's get it. 29 books that I've completed and graded, scored, or whatever. So I'm going to go about this by the app. And in this video, I'll tell you a little bit that I can remember about the books. Because sometimes I'm like, I read it, I'm over it, I don't want to be a part of that anymore. But we'll see. We'll jump in. Okay. Alrighty. So the first book that I read this year, or put on my app this year, was Wicked Fox. I gave it 5-star rating. According to the app and the notes that I wrote down, very exciting and engaging. Love the fantasy piece of it. I love the history and the culture details. Appreciate the fantasy as well as the romance. So yeah, apparently I really like the Wicked Fox. I gave it a whole 5 stars, y'all. Okay, here we go. Book number 2, Make a Scene by Mimi Grace. I gave this a 4-star. And my note says, faking a relationship and then making it look like a piece of cake is always cute. Quoting one of the reviews on Goodreads. I said, I really love that it's always about a story about realistic people that you could really relate to. Duncan's character is very much whimsical, but also very realistic, as well as the behavior of the both. They were able to have real conversations about how relationships impact us, but not just us, the family, and the so on. So I actually gave this book a 4-star, and I really liked it. Okay, look at me. Okay, so the next book is Death by Dumpling. Y'all know how I feel about this series, so do we really need to know what I ranked it as? Because y'all know I gave it a 5-star. So Death by Dumpling by Vivian Chang was about a girl named Lana who came home after a failed relationship. Doesn't really have a lot going on for herself, so she's kind of slumming it. Kind of like, whatever. I'll work at my family's restaurants to make ends meet. But then she finds herself in the middle of a crazy situation when someone passes away that works in the noodle shop. And her family is the prime suspects because, dun dun dun, they delivered what was basically the murder piece, the murder evidence, what is the word? What is it? I don't even know what to call it. But yeah, her family got in trouble for it. So to basically claim her family's innocence as well as a friend, she gotta do what she gotta do, boo. She gotta do what she gotta do. All right, the next book that I read is also a murder mystery, and that's Bells, Spells, and Murders. I gave this book 3 stars. This was one of the newer murder mysteries to me, and I just remember, like, this is a lot to consume. Overall, I want to say that I enjoyed it, but I do remember it was a lot to consume, and I struggled to get through it a few times. I did stop reading it at the beginning of the month, and then I finished it up at the end of the month. So, not bad, I guess. The next book that I read for the year was Power Your Life with a Positive Life Lessons and Secrets, and this was by Cyrus Webb, and it really talked about some different motivational quotes and different motivational stories about people of fame, whether it be producers, actors, writers, and they all kind of talk about the same narrative of having those trials and tribulations and how they overcame them. I ultimately gave this book a 3-star, and it was very, I don't know. I think I found it very repetitive, but I get what it was going for. Like, it was trying to be motivational and share different stories, but at one point it was just like, okay, this is kind of A plus B equals C, and that was kind of how it was formatted for every page. Okay, Next book is The Perfect Date. I remember this book and I'm still trying to figure out how this was labeled as a romance. I do not find this book to be a romance. I did not feel the chemistry or the love between the two main characters. But I mean, you live and you learn. You learn and you live, I guess. Next. The next book that I have here is The Akata Witch, which I actually hybrid read this book. So I was listening to it as I was reading it, and man, was it a phenomenal read. I gave it 5 stars. It was creative. It was cultivating. It was imaginative. I love the fantasy aspect. I love the African kind of dialect. It was, ooh. I like this book. Hence the 5 stars, right? The next book that I read is A Song Below Water. And this one was very interesting. You were able to receive 2 different kind of perspectives between sisters. And the end had me like, what the heck happened? What? Wait, what? I do want to read the second book. There is a part 2 to this story, but I ultimately gave it 4 stars. So the next book is Muted. And this book actually gave me a lot of Tiffany D. Jackson's vibes with Grown. And it was really about young women in the music industry and how they are manipulated and how they are taken advantage of. Now, hella trigger warnings in this book. And when I say at the end, I almost cried. My mouth dropped. I was just like, what? That's how we're ending this? That's where we're going with this? I was literally livid. But I ultimately gave the book a 4 star. 4 stars. What can I say? I'm free willy with all of my ratings. Let's just be honest. It's hard for me to say I hate a book. I'm gonna be honest. Okay, next book is Pet. I've had Pet on my shelves forever, so I was very excited to finally get a chance to read it. Was I surprised? Yes. Did I listen to the audiobook? Yes. Did it creep me out? Yes. Ultimately, I gave Pet a 4 star. It was really, really interesting concept. And when I say the visions that I was getting of this story was just like, oh my gosh. Like, oh, Pet? Come on, son. What is going on? The next book is War Girls, and this is the first book of the series. This was a whole new concept to me. So it was action-packed, it was sci-fi, it was kind of a dystopian world. It was so much going on in this book. I felt like I was watching an actual action movie. It was so many different things happening, and it's really pairing 2 siblings together and how they kind of care for each other and figure out life. When I say I love this book, I ultimately gave it 4 stars, but I am going to continue reading the series. Next, We Cast a Shadow, and this one is by Maurice Ruffin. And this one is very interesting. Mentally, it really challenges a lot of narratives around culture and skin color and opportunities and openness and self-love and that passed down trauma. Oh my God, this book was so complex. It was actually my first read by Maurice, and this makes me want to pick up more of his work. Honestly, if you haven't heard of the book, I do recommend it, but I ultimately gave it 4 stars. So, as y'all can see, I give a lot of 4 stars out. Not a lot of 5s, a lot of 4s is for sure. 4 and 3s, that's where we're at. So the next book is another book that I actually did a review on, and that is Who Put That Song On by Morgan Parker. And when I say Morgan Parker, really highlighted things that I personally experienced in this book. And when I say the conversations that will definitely happen after this book is so necessary that I couldn't do anything but give it 4 stars. I'm sorry. I can't. So I also jumped into, I want to say we're about March time frame. So these books are January, February. So now we're kind of in March, and I read the Teen Titans comic books, and that was Raven as well as Beast Boy. When I say the art and the detail of these comics, so cute. So cute. I would continue as long as they keep making them because they were adorable. For those who don't know, I do watch Titan on HBO Max, so it was really exciting to kind of see a different perspective. I have not watched the cartoons since I was younger, so it was really nice to just kind of dive into something that's a goodie and a oldie, but still coming out. So yeah. On to the next. The next book is Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I gave this a 5-star. It was one of my first kind of adult fantasy-ish books, and Brandon Sanderson intimidates me by the number count he has on his books. I'm just gonna be frank. When you see his books, they're like this. Thick mamas. But they're also very good, very entertaining. I think this book did such a good job developing their characters, developing the world that it was in. And when I say it was so thought-provoking, Brandon, it was so thought-provoking. But yes, I ultimately ended up giving this book a 5-star. It was so great. Did I finish the series? No, I'm still finishing the last one, but don't judge me. I recommend the series though. It's definitely a good fantasy. So we have a murder mystery, and this is Murder Can Kill Your Socialite. And this is one of those older murder mysteries that my grandmother used to read, things like that. And I was like, why not? Let's just try some oldies but a goodies. So it's about a plus size PI, and she's like all in her own world, being all fabulous. And of course, she has to solve mysteries. She has to maneuver around the police not wanting her to get involved, but people coming to her and asking her for help because she's that good. And I kind of hate the idea of like, oh, I'll get ignored because I'm plus size and no one pays attention to plus size women. Baby, this is not what you think. But she ended up having her little boo things on the side too. So I'm just saying, this was a cutie. I ultimately gave it 3 stars, and yes, I will be continuing the series. The next book is Binti. I hope I'm saying it right. Super short read. It's like, honestly, I think it's like 40 pages, if that. And it talks about a girl who is pushing herself to be educated and go into this space. I don't know how to really explain it. It's more like she goes on this trip to a different world to help develop, and it's the best and the smartest and the brightest. And she gets on, and then havoc happens, and she just wants to go home. OMG. I was not prepared. It's short, but it was definitely a nice little roller coaster. You know how you got that one coaster where it's like tick, 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 and then it just whoosh you down? That's this book. It whooshed you down. The next book that I read was Poor Unfortunate Souls, and this one is the book 3 of the Villain series by Serena Valentino. And I actually gave this book 3 stars. So the book is about Ursula, and it's prior to the stories that we love, right? It's prior to Ariel finding the prince and falling in love. It's really how Ursula's perspective and how she manipulates things and how she became evil, I guess. It kind of tells us the story of who, what, why prior to Ariel. Now, I did give this 3 stars. I personally like these stories, just getting a different perspective of the stories we already know and love. But, you know, it's not a lot of new things here. So you're kind of getting a side of a story that you already know. So there you go. The next book that I read is also a part of the Death by Dumpling Noodle Shop Mystery. It's the 2nd book. And this one, again, sis, love it. I gave this one 4 stars as well. Again, the way they continue to tell the story, continuing the characters, but all this crazy stuff is happening all in one place. Baby, I would just move. Just move. We gotta go. It's too much murder here. We need to move our home. That's where I'm at. So the next book we have here is Sleeping Cute, and this one is by Tanzania Glover, and I absolutely adored it. So I actually gave this book 3 stars. It was really interesting. I enjoyed it, and I do recommend. The next book is Ninth House. I read the first page of Ninth House and was like, we're gonna close that. We're just gonna close it. We're gonna close it up. We're gonna shut this down. Here's the thing. I did like it when I read it. I read it, got through it, and I was like, why is it so fabulous at the end? Like, that's what made me mad, and that's what made me put 3 stars. When I say the first couple of chapters were boring, it was rough to get through, but once you get through it, hey, things pop up, things start happening, things start changing, and you're like, oh, what is going on? With that being said, I did end up giving it a 3-star, but it was definitely a fun ride. In addition to that, I also read Captain Underpants. It was an adorable story I buddy read with my nephew. It was so cute. It was Attack of the Toilets. It was funny. It was adorable. And it was a nice time for me to kind of connect with my nephew. So Love that. The next book that I read is the Well of Ascension, and that is the book 2 of the Mistborn trilogy. And what it was, it left me a lot of questions. That's what it was. It was playing with my emotions the entire time, is what it was. It was drama. But I did see a little bit of maturity of the characters. I did see more complexity, so I ultimately gave it a 4-star. I did still enjoy it. I just found myself trying to piece things together, but y'all know me, I'm super paranoid with these kind of stories because, you know, they be hiding stuff and I be trying to figure it out. Give me 1 + 1 is 2, and if you can't find the other one, I will. Okay. The next book is A Discovery of Witches, which technically shouldn't be on the list because I did start the first couple of chapters and then I stopped. So this was technically a DNF that I finished, but it's here. I did it. We're doing it. So, A Discovery of Witches, I actually gave 3 stars. It was definitely whimsical. It was definitely giving me those magical elements, but I just wasn't feeling the storyline. I personally feel like I would enjoy the show way more than I would the book. However, I want to give it another shot and actually read the second book of here. It's not a terrible read. I did enjoy a lot of aspects of the magic and the history behind it. I just felt like it was a lot of dull moments for me where I didn't find it to be as exciting and engaging as I continued. The next book, okay, we gonna go right on into the next one. A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I like this book. It is a YA suspense kind of thriller, but man, was it exciting. The story really highlights a popular girl, the town sweetheart, being either kidnapped or murdered. We really don't know. She just kind of disappears. But then her boyfriend actually, quote unquote, commits suicide. So there is a young girl by the name of Pip who believes, I don't believe that this good guy killed himself, let alone someone else. And for her class project, she decides to be a detective. Basically do their job because they didn't do it right. She jumps in with notes and she gets the support of a family member of the boyfriend who killed himself. So trigger warnings for that. It talks about suicide. It deals with drugs and coercion. But baby, when I say the suspense was there, it was there. I know this is YA, but I was like, hey, how y'all doing? I like this. I found myself asking a lot of questions, and the moment that you feel like you know who did it, things switch up. So there's a lot of kind of curviness around the story and the plot, but baby, I like this one. This is definitely a good one, and yes, I will be continuing with the series. The next one is The Beast Within. I also read, which is also a part of the villain series. You guys know I'm trying to finish a few of the series this year, and this is one of them. So far, I have yet to rank any of the books in this series over 3 stars because I know the general synopsis of it, which is the stories we all know and love. It's just interesting to get the concepts of the villains from a villain perspective. Because just like the Ursula, or just like the Maleficent, is that how you say it? Maleficent? Correct me in the comments. But those stories, which I also read and gave 3 stars, I feel like we were really able to see the development of them being evil. Like, abuse, torture, trauma, and them saying, screw this, I'd rather be bad and win than be good and still be down. Like, they were choosing violence, and I enjoyed it. Okay, so 3 stars for The Beast Within and Maleficent, because yeah, those 2 were good. Okay, and then we have The Murder of Lo Mang, which is also a part of the Noodle Shop Murder Mystery series. And baby, again, Miss Vivian does not disappoint me. Another 4-star. Like, literally another 4-star. So far I've read 3 to 4 books of this series because I'm literally at the end of the 4th book. And when I say this series is so good, for one, the main character, Lana, very relatable, very realistic. A lot of the things that she's thinking, she's saying, I can relate to, so I personally love it. But then you have this twist of murder. You don't know who you can trust, when you can trust them. And you would think that they would wise up and stop telling Lana their business. But when you are a murderer, you can't help but tell your business, apparently. And you're just so, I gotta tell everybody that I'm going through something. So when they find out I'm the murderer, they have some sympathy. No, 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 no. So I believe that's 27 of the 29 books. I am also currently reading What a Match by Mimi Grace. I should be finished with that sometime today, actually. I'm probably going to finish it, but I'm just letting y'all know right now, 5 stars. I don't even care what you're saying right now. I know I ain't done, but the book is 5 stars. I said what I said. Argue with your mom, don't argue with me, honey. That's what it is. Mimi is gonna probably always get a 4 to 5 from me because I just love her stories and I love her character building, and the development of the relationships are so realistic. Like, you can read a romance and tell, oh, they're gonna love each other. Oh, they're gonna fight. Okay, now they're fighting. Okay, now they love each other. Okay, now they get back together. Mimi's is very much realistic. I want to love you, but I can't because it's inappropriate. But here's me confessing my love to myself, so eventually you'll come back to me. And now we're working on ourselves so we can love each other. And baby, I love it here. Love it there, okay? And then last but not least, I Am Number 4 is definitely enjoyable. I'm not gonna lie, I've said in previous videos that I liked the movie. The movie was nice, and that's why I picked up the book. The book is so much better. I mean, you guys should not be surprised. We're all book nerds here. We're all bookworms here. We know the books are better, but I didn't expect the book to be better, you know? Like, yes, give me some more. Give me some. So that is all I have for you guys. These are the 29 books that I have, new 29 books that I've read since the beginning of the year. Thank you so much for watching this video. Comment down below how many new books. So here we go. How many new books have you read this year? Also, you can always comment down below the purple heart emoji. I just appreciate you guys coming to hang out with me. A little bit longer and lengthier than my normal videos, but I digress. Thank you so much for watching. It's your girl, Books with Bonnie. I am out.